Hi, good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Coe with the Easton Historical Society. I'm one of the directors here, and I want to really talk to you about our upcoming open house on this February 25th. That's a Sunday from 12 to 4. Our feature will be recipes and cookbooks, where we have a great collection of some historic cookbooks. And I'll kind of show you what we have already. But really the main part of this show would be people from around in Easton bringing in their own recipes or cookbooks from their grandmother, their mother, their great-great-grandmother, and sharing them while you're here, and also taking a look at all the recipes that we have and taking your phone out and taking pictures of it, anything you'd want to do. So I want to share with you what we have today on the table and throughout the museum. So let me start with the oldest cookbook that we have, and this is from 1796, the first published cookbook in the United States by Amelia Simmons. Now this, of course, is a replica, but there are some fabulous of the date recipes that you'd probably like to take a look at. So that's a beauty right there. And on top, we've got in chronological order from oldest to newest, and I'll go around the table. But we have an 1875. It's in tough shape, but it's Breakfast, Lunch, and Tea by Marion Harland. I've looked at every one of these, and there's some fabulous recipes in there. I'm kind of a cook myself, so I love looking at recipes and from the dates going around. We have some nice little utensils that have been donated over the years, some kitchen utensils, this beautiful little mixer. The next one is a very famous cookbook, and all would remember Fanny Farmer. Well, Fanny Merritt Farmer produced an 1896 cookbook from the Boston Cooking School. And this is one of the originals. It's probably a 1920 version. They were so popular they had to add an update through the years. But this is how it would have looked in 1896. We do have a new copy that you can open up and take pictures of with your phone if you like a certain recipe, but it was wildly popular, as they stated. This is a very old 1917 from the Gold Medal Flour. It's the Gold Medal Flour cookbook, and some fabulous recipes in there. And I would tell you there's something in here, and I don't know if anybody's ever watched the Seinfeld show. And remember the soup Nazi? And Elaine found an old bureau, and she opened it up, and it was all the soup Nazis' soup recipes, and she kind of went back and blackmailed him. Well, I think we've got somebody's recipe book for cocktails. Now, the rumor has it this may have been someone very famous in Easton. I'm not going to say the name because there is no name, and my conjecture is, but it's typed up, and it has some really old cocktail drinks you might want to take a picture of, and it's typed. It's beautifully done. Either a bar had it, but I think I know whose it was. Our next one is a 1919 Home Helps, the Pure Food Cookbook. Nice recipes in there, pretty old. Excuse me. And this one is the Modern Priscilla Cookbook. 1930-ish, some really nice ones. This happens to be was a very popular, it's a card, 500 food facts. There are 500 recipes in there from the New York Herald Tribune Institute. And it's about the 1930s this was published, and if you open it up here, you can see it's all categorized. Yeah, entrees, frozen desserts, salads, preserves, just fabulous recipes. A 1940 Jessie Marie DeBoth cookbook. And then we go down here, we have a lot of organizations in town that produced cookbooks throughout the years, and we do have one from the Friends of the Ames Free Library. We have the Outlook Club in Easton, Mass., 1926. So fabulous recipes. The Laurel Club, Friends of Borderland. I have one recipe book here. There's no cover, and I'm trying to find out what it is. Outstanding recipes, but I can't ID it yet. We are working on that one. We have another one from Good Samaritan, Friends of Women's Health at Good Samaritan Hospital, Medical Center. Our own Easton Historical Society Museum has published two, one in 1973 and one in 1984, The Right Track. That's a nice one. So again, you feel free to come down and open them up, take pictures of recipes if you like, but again, we're encouraging you to bring recipes down, and if you'd like to talk to our great friends at ECAT, they'll be here on that day to video a lot of you giving some recipes. And I do want to put a great plug in for the town of Easton. The Tricentennial Committee, and Diane Lissardi is heading up the committee for menus and putting together an Easton 300th year tricentennial commemorative cookbook. So she's adding a lot of your recipes, and it's going to be a good-sized recipe book, my understanding is. So you want to bring that down, and Diana will be here on that day, and to give her your recipes, and you'll make a submission, and she'll put it into Diana, and what she can put in there, she will put in there. The Garden Club, two beautiful recipe books, one from 1993 and 2005. I do want to make a shameless plug for our new society hats. These are very cool, and I'll show you right here. Beautiful picture, embroidered, nice golf hat of our museum, the Easton Historical Society Museum. But on the back, we're all set for the tricentennial. It has the date, Easton 1725. So please come on down, and a great way to support the Easton Historical Society with a purchase of an item in the store. So around the corner, we've got some company cookbooks, recipes, General Foods Corporation. I've got one here from, believe it or not, this got into our archives, and I probably know why. It's some outstanding recipes in there. Tasty Echoes, it's called. Finishing Touches. This one in particular is very personal to a Ethel Easton, maybe from Easton, I'm not sure, but this was in our archives. It's a handwritten recipe book. She used an order book, but it's beautiful. There's some beautiful recipes in there. George Seelman and Sons, My Best Recipes. Ford actually put one out, Ford Times Cookbook. We've got 3 Betty Crocker cookbooks. We have one, Easy Guide to Entertaining, about 1959-ish, and one here I love. It's Betty Crocker's cookbook for boys and girls. So what little boy and little girl doesn't like cooking with their moms and dads and sharing some recipes? This one actually was mine. The Betty Crocker Better Homes new cookbook. Everybody probably has one of these from the 70s or before, and that has a lot of recipes in there, and a lot of other ones that I actually use, and I download a few and put them in there and date them and change them a little bit, so it's a lot of fun. A couple contemporary ones. New York Times #1 bestseller, Chicken Soup for the Soul cookbook, 1993. I think everybody probably has one of those. And Williams-Sonoma has a nice soup recipe book. Okay, and here we have, everybody knows of Ruth Graves Wakefield. She was she owned and she came out with, everybody's known about Toll House cookies, right? Well, Ruth was from Easton. I was born in Easton, grew up. and went to Oliver Ames, graduated Oliver Ames High School about 1920. And we've got the Toll House tried and true recipes, Ruth Wakefield. So we'll have that for you. But in our Reminiscences book, the 2021 Volume 12, we've got a picture of Ruth and a nice little biography. But in it is the Toll House recipe. You would definitely want to take that and take a picture of that. And we do have if you just want to take this home with you, it's a very, very inexpensive book to take home. It's about $5. So please come down and take a look at that. Now we have another section here of recipe books. We're going to have a lot more, but these are not all the churches, but many of the churches in Easton that put out a cookbook, and we'll try to have the whole selection here. There's a few we're working on to get here, but there's one from the Covenant Congregational Church, one from St. Mark's Episcopal Church, the Unity Church of North Easton, and we've got one here from the Holy Trinity Lutheran Church. We've got one from the Evangelical Congregational Church, and we have a pumpkin patch cookbook here for the show coming up. And so that's our cookbooks. But again, I really want to welcome everybody down on the 25th, Sunday, from about 12 to 4. It's really all about you, because we want to see your recipes. Come on down and share them. Talk with a lot of folks here. It should be a lot of fun. Take pictures of all these great recipes. Share them. Share your own, and I'm sure everybody's going to share with you when you come down. So looking forward to a great open house again Sunday, 12 to 4, February 25th. I do want to show you a couple brand new displays while you're here. So we'll go into the other room in a couple minutes, and I'll see you there. Hi, welcome back. We've got some nice new displays at the museum, and one you've probably seen before in the other room. And we've got a 5-masted schooner. It's the Governor Oliver Ames. That's the name of the ship. It was the first 5-masted schooner in the world. It was built, largest cargo ship in the world in the late 19th century, owned by the Atlantic Shipping Company of Somerset, Massachusetts. It was launched in 1888 from Waldoboro, Maine. It was wrecked. It was wrecked in 1909, killing 13 of 14 crew, including Captain King and his wife. Now, let me tell you about, it was probably doomed a little bit, but just a beautiful cargo ship. But when it launched in 1888, it actually went aground. It got caught up in a storm. It almost sank, but they salvaged it, which was very cool. So it had about 10 good years of no accidents, but this cargo ship carried railroad ties, a lot of lumber, went around the tip of Cape Horn. It went all over the world, and one of the things happened. It was in Georgia loading up, excuse me, it was loading up railroad ties, and it was, I would think this probably a little bit top heavy too, but it went from Georgia. It was going to New York to drop them off, and I'm sure railroad ties, they probably had ties to the Ameses and the shovel works at the time, and with the railroads, especially with Frederick Lothrop. But I would say this, and I know what happened, but getting wrecked. It actually caught a storm around Cape Hatteras, and it got broken up. It sank. And again, that was a real tough one, but it was a lot of things washed up against shore, but it was horrible. 13 out of 14, including the captain and his wife. But that's a beautiful picture of the Governor Ames, and that's the governor right there. We all know that's Governor Oliver Ames. And the school that was first built and named after the governor was the Yellow School on Lincoln Street. That was the first Oliver Ames High School. We do have another new exhibit, and this is fabulous. This was donated by Arlene Johnson, the class of 1960. This is a radio, and this is a fabulous radio. It was an experimental radio, and it was an educational one. Now, the gentleman that owned this won it in a contest. That was Mr. Joel Johnson at 15 years old. Everybody would know Joel Johnson that lived in Easton and grew up in Easton. He was the former police chief of Easton. And he won this in a contest. And I would tell you the contest, we actually have a nice little letter from the Howard and Caldwell Company that congratulating Mr. Johnson. They're going to be down to set it up. You needed to have speakers and a battery running this. But he won it in a jelly bean contest, a counting contest, which is amazing. There was 6,578 beans in the jar. Mr. Johnson guessed 6,600. Just amazing. Just only 22 off, and he won this radio. So the Brockton Enterprise had a nearest guess by Northeastern Boy, wins radio outfit offered by Howard and Caldwell. Fabulous story, I think, but when you look at this is beautiful, but there's also something else very interesting about it. Back in the day, radio stations had little stamps with their call letters on there, and if you sent a note into them that you received their signals, they would send you a stamp. And there's WEEI right here, KWKH. I got to get my glasses on for that one. But these, quite frankly, are very, very popular, and people collected those, and it was pretty neat. So that's a couple nice new displays that we have, and we've got some brand new pictures we pulled out from the archives you'd love to see all over. So the last one, and you've seen this before, we have an awful lot of Simpson Spring bottles. We have a nice little collection, and I would urge you to come up and take a look at this. We've got some great old artifacts from Simpson Springs. And down at Simpson Springs at the plant, they have a wonderful museum worth taking a tour up there for. And one thing I'd like you to, when you come to the museum, we've got a beautiful collection of some of the dairy bottles around Easton, a lot of the dairies. Of course, there's Langwater Dairy, but we've actually lit up the case so you can really see the bottles now. But some fabulous dairy bottles here. We've got the Andrews, H.H. Andrews of Northeastern had a dairy. A. Anderson, Arthur Clark in Eastondale, Cleverly Farms, not too long ago. These are the Langwater ones, John S. Ames. Mr. Slavin had one at Flyaway Farms. R.F. Gooch, R.J.M. Daly, F.H. Maliff, F.E. Porter, Randall Farms, and the last one is Wilbur Farms and Tufts Farms. So really cool display, and we've got a lot of medicine bottles here from Easton, and just a nice history there. So again, thank you for listening to me ramble on, but I'm pretty excited about this museum, as you could tell, and wishing you all to come down on the 25th, Sunday the 25th, from 12 to 4, our open house on recipes and menus. So looking forward to seeing you. Have a great day, and see you then.